if you're building something this huge, is there an actual market for it? In terms of the ISS seems to, in some ways, have struggled to justify its insanely expensive existence. So sticking up something 4 times bigger might seem like a little bit mad.
So we understand the engineering challenges to some extent that were faced in building the ISS, and also the funding challenges that they went through. And that was at the time where we had the shuttle, which is, I love the shuttle personally, but there were limitations in terms of the upkeep of itself of the shuttle. Now we're a slightly different paradigm, and I'm not the one that created this thought, but we've been talking to people who have been in the industry for much longer, and they see some correlation perhaps of the time when the internet started to kick out. The late 90s towards early 2000s, when it became more broader access, and we see similar approach to what's happening now with Starship, with many of these very successful companies that are in a way moving the bottleneck from launch, which historically has been quite costly, quite dangerous, to something that is more proven, more systematic. I mean, if we have Starship online, where there are talks about bringing the kilo of going up into space to what, $500 or less. I think someone telling me recently that currently it's about, the estimate would be around $250 a kilo. So if that happens, and we have a lot more broader access, you're sort of widening the pipe to be able to access to space. And what do we do? It's like having loads of planes, loads of people that want to travel, but you don't have a hotel, you don't have anywhere where people can stay or do their businesses, and that's where we want to come in.
Yeah.
So my take on this, Matt, is that first of all we might be slightly mad, but we would be much madder if we did this 10 years ago, because 10 years ago this would make no sense. The cost of this, like, first of all, you couldn't build it this big. The main driver for using such a space station would be the launch cost. So it would make no sense. But similar to Starship doesn't have any business use case now. But once you enable it, then the market can open. You can create a lot of new use cases. And for us, the main driver is the space tourism, which is currently still in very high demand. I mean, there are people in the past who paid $20 to $70 million to stay 2 weeks on the ISS. And there is a line of people who would like to go, who would like to pay, but couldn't because all the seats were bought by NASA and there was no way to put somebody there. Now imagine if this opens and the cost goes down tenfold.
It is really cool project, I have to say, and it'd be really fascinating to see how well it does with at NASA. I mean, would that be just absolutely awesome, wouldn't it?
Are we bringing the ace in space?
Yep, you certainly would be.